not a drive-by shooting. We believe we're going to stay there for a few days.
6,560 yards. 3770.
Oh, left gun. Don't want the fire.
Oh, Whiskey, this is 9 November. Roger, understand. Permission to fire.
One to kick some ass. Everybody stand by.
This video, shot before dawn out in the Persian Gulf, shows some of the huge 16-inch guns aboard the USS Missouri, firing at Iraqi positions in Kuwait.
According to the U.S. military, the heavy shells of the historic battleship were used against targets inside Kuwait. Specifically, the 60-inch guns were trained on prefabricated bunkers the Iraqis apparently brought in to withstand an Allied ground offensive.
Aircraft in the area.
Launch. Good launch, 72. Bottle away.
No rigid head 230.
And the bottom line is really this. You came to war, you did it with class, and we're hanging in there and giving them hell.
70. Hit the net at 70.
Aggression is defeated. The war is over.
It's beautiful. You will love it.
The word is delicious, not beautiful.
Delicious.
Beautiful is the look.
Yum, yum. Yum, yum. Hey.
Yum, yum.
What's up?
Telling more stories. Gentlemen of Missouri, this is Admiral Barney Kelly. I'm the Commander-in-Chief of the Pacific Fleet, and just recently landed on your fantail, CH-53. My purpose to come out here today is to kind of welcome you home to America. As you notice ahead of you here, this is a typical Hawaiian day. You're going to get a typical Hawaiian reception when you come in.
We always talk about something that binds the ship together, and it's the history of the ship, the true history of the ship that bring all the people here.
All the Navy had to do was let out the word. The public could visit the USS Missouri today, and the people lined up.
So, we wanted to come out and see it.
It's the type of homecoming reserved for heroes, for men in ships who survived the battles and won the war. When the USS Missouri left Long Beach 6 months ago, she was the seasoned veteran. Now, so is her crew.
Every member of the crew just really worked hard and did their job.
The USS Missouri made a majestic return to her home harbor of Long Beach,
bringing its crew home to a spectacular welcome by several boats, pumping streams of water into the air. A colorful escort of small boats also greeted the mighty USS Missouri.
The 1,500 sailors aboard the Missouri lined the decks, anxiously waiting to be reunited with family and friends.
On the pier, their families waited, unable to hide their joy and relief.
Families from across the country were waiting at the Long Beach harbor.
This was a welcome sight for these men. Hundreds of people had waited excitedly for up to 3 hours for the ship to come in.
This homecoming was by invitation only, but you would have never guessed it by the size of the crowd.
Loved ones gripped binoculars for a sneak peek of the arriving battleship.
The 1,500 men survived an Iraqi missile attack. They're glad to be alive, glad to be home.
And they got one rousing welcome.
There were bands, some cheerleaders from the LA Raiders football team.
Anxious wives would have preferred a wild rampage to the deck of the USS Missouri, but they practiced patience. There was no doubt the toughest part of a 6-month wait is the last 20 minutes.
I love you, Richard!
They did good for our country. On deck, Carlos Duran searched for his family and found them.
You see him?
And soon, Carlos was holding his wife and Carlos Jr.
Words couldn't describe the obvious joy of a sailor meeting his new son for the very first time.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Oh, boy.
Miss you so much. You see your daddy home, man?
All around them, families were reunited.
Never gonna get apart again.
What was it like for the men of the Missouri backing up ground forces in the Persian Gulf War?
It was very life-threatening. I'm very glad to be home.
And we launched 28 Tomahawk missiles while we were there. And then we were called into service the early part of February to the end of the war for shore bombardment support, and we fired just about 800 16-inch projectiles.
A homecoming filled with laughter, tears, and hugs, all for the heroes of the USS Missouri, veterans of the Gulf War.
Every member of the crew who feels a sense of history, and the exciting part of it is I think we got to participate in adding to the history of Missouri, and we'll all be sad to see her go.